just, I don't know, like I just could like chill and just be in a place where it's I don't have to worry about nothing happening to me or my dude. Like we sitting there, we chopping it up, we talking to other couples. And it was just like it was just yeah, a whole vibe. And then when my birthday came around, they actually threw a party for me. And like I'm not even in that life, but I think they just used my birthday as like a reason to
A
have a
reason.
party. You know what I'm saying? A big ass party. And then like um because I wasn't in that life and I guess he was in that life, with his ex-wife, like they got my number and like they would call and check on me and it was like genuine. It was like, "Hey sis,
Yeah.
how are you doing?" It wasn't no like trying to like push up on me or pressure me or anything like that. But yeah, that them the people that swing and just like the people that are like metrosexual or homosexual or LGBTQ or what man, them people are like I don't know, like they just like I
Yeah.
say that your mom's husband or fiance has that key. A lot of them people be having that key, and that's one way. I mean, like to me, like that's what I aspire to be. Even before like I got introduced to that life, that non-judgmental, because I don't want to judge myself. And if I'm trying to practice this self-love and non-judgmental to myself, I got to be like that to other people and being in those
Absolutely.
type of environments to where it's like a collective contents of non-judgment and no inhibitions and like yeah, it's just it's dope. It's a whole
And
vibe.
and it's so contrary to like what we've been taught about sex and about intimacy. You know what I mean? Like that you should wait, that you shouldn't be, you shouldn't, be openly sexual or, because you'll get labeled the wrong
Yep.
way. You don't want to do that. And in
Yeah.
and in reality, it's the complete opposite. Like that's
That's right.
natural to be in your sexuality and to explore your sexuality.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be any judgment to it. And I think that's why that environment is so welcoming for for me and for you. Like we went two different places, had two different experiences, but we've had the same experience because that's natural.
Yep,
Yeah.
and you get to
So
Yeah.
ask questions and they like so open. Like they're
Yeah.
so open. They be like, "Oh, you didn't know about that? Okay, well, let me tell you how to do." And I'm like, "Oh, well, damn, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it
So
was dope."
so that's I guess that description is it's electric. So that's how it is around my friends that are attracted to opposite sex. No, same sex. Sorry. Um,
Same sex. Yeah.
I mean, they're so open, so loving. There's no judgment. It's carefree, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And so I guess we've all experienced that. That I would say the no judgment zone, right? And it feels great, and that's the way it should be all the time, right? And that's the way that we should look at ourselves.
It should, and
Yeah.
it's so crazy. I was reading somewhere just in preparation, what I'm saying, for our conversation, and it was like the difference between that whole thinking of being kind to other people, or treat people as you want to be treated. Like that's like the golden rule. And they were saying that it's actually another rule that's called the platinum rule, where at least you treat yourself as you want to be treated. And I was like,
Hmm. Yeah.
So just like to hear, like your experience and me talking about like I'd like thrive in that environment because I want to like not judge myself, because it's hard to not pick yourself apart. You know what I'm saying? And it's easy to me. It came easy for me to not judge others, but I would point
Yeah.
that finger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would point that finger easily to myself.
Yeah.
Like people used to always say, when you pointing the finger at other people, it's 5 pointing back at you. Like it
Yeah.
was actually 10 all the time pointing back at me because I would not judge people. I just be like,
Absolutely.
whatever, that's dope.
do
Okay.
do y'all think that we judge ourselves so harshly because we don't know who we are?
Oh yeah.
Then we take on everybody else's opinions and ideas of who we are, and we judge ourselves because we don't know what is true and what's not true and who we really are.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and when you're not even having a conversation with yourself, and all the conversations that you do have is judgmental, who wants to talk to that person, right? So until you really realize that self-love is really turning that relationship and being so intimate with yourself and talking to yourself lovingly and being with yourself lovingly. And when you do that, you really know how to do that with other people, because you can't give something that you don't give yourself.
Right.
You experience it immediately. Like if you get, we talked about this on Friday. If you get pissed, you feel that immediately before you give it out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we're all one. That's why you can't get away from it. So you have to understand what you give is what you get. And you want to talk about manifesting immediately? That's an instant manifestation. Instant. All day long, every day. So that's why it's important. Instead of just letting people get to you, you let it go. Because if you don't, it's going to get to you before it gets to them.
Yes.
And they're not worth it. I don't want to lose that feeling over nobody. So I'm not going to be pissed. I'm going to let you make it. Because I love me too much. I want to keep that feeling. I don't want my day to go left because of you and that feeling. No. Oh, sir. You're fine.
I love that.
And that's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I want to ask a question. Can you tell me what is being intimate with yourself from a male's perspective?
So let's talk about this. So when you're intimate with in your relationship, right? What do? I mean, you do all the niceties. You talk a certain way. You chilling. You get yourself ready. The environment's ready. It's absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be damned if I will not pour into anybody else except myself like that. Period. You know what I'm saying? Before I even decide to pour out to somebody like that, you have to really, really understand that when you're giving yourself that space, that's creating such a feeling within. You're making yourself number one. You're making yourself a queen, king. Because when you fill up your space like that, I mean, you just gonna overflow.
It
So
makes
why
you
is
have
it
that
so
bounce
easy?
too. You be like,
Absolutely.
Off the shelf, some pep in your step.
mm-hmm.
But I want to ask, why is it so easy for us to be so accommodating to other people and pour into other people and be, loving to other people? And it's really hard for us to do that with ourselves. Like
I think it's what we were taught.
Giving to other people is can be more natural.
Yeah.
I think
to
it's
some
that whole
people.
golden rule situation. You know what I'm saying? Treat people,
Yeah, and plus it feels good. It feels good. It feels good to see people be good.
Yeah.
And that's really what you want. That's a feeling that you're searching for on the inside. So you're actually getting that from the outside of you. But that's what you really want. See? That feeling.
But that don't last though.
So is that pouring into yourself? Okay.
Yeah, that don't last.
Okay.
That's right. That's right. And so that's the teacher.
Okay.
It doesn't last. So what you have to do is you got to turn that inward. You know what I'm saying? And you got to start dating yourself, and you got to start tripping with yourself and being okay with yourself, and give yourself some grace and just chill with yourself, just be with yourself, and it's cool, with no judgment.
Okay, let me ask you this then, because for a long time I was hella introverted. I feel like I'm kind of on the line now between introvert and extrovert.
I find that hard to believe, man.
I know. I think I'm coming out of it, but. I used to feel like, I love to hang out with myself and I love to, be by myself. But really, I wasn't pouring into myself, though.
That's right.
I was just being can you kind of touch on the distinction between being introverted and feeling like, oh, I like to spend time with myself and pouring into yourself, because it's two completely different things. And I didn't know that.
It is, because, when you're by yourself all the time, that means that you're separating for a reason. Yeah. What's the reason that you're separating? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because, if you want to deal with life, there's a reason why. Always. You know what I'm saying? And so what most people do is they separate themselves. And they separate themselves to get with themselves and they don't even know themselves. They don't even talk to themselves. So it's really a prison. You see?
For sure. I can identify with that.
And just like anything else, you get used to that, and then you say, you know what, it's okay to be like this. I'm cool with this, and it becomes your lifestyle, and you think it's normal, and it ain't normal. You see?
Condition yourself.
Yeah, and then I kind of like started turning my nose up at people who had to have that human interaction. Like, what is wrong with you that you can't sit in the house and watch, binge watch by yourself? Like, I was thinking that, it was something wrong with them because they couldn't be by themselves, but really, I wasn't really being by myself. I was just isolated.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I still think there's something wrong with people that can't binge watch something on their own.
Well, yeah, but I was just saying, like, I was judging them, but really, like, I was thinking that they didn't have what I had, or they couldn't be by themselves because there was something wrong with them. But really, I was isolating myself because it was something wrong with me too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, so the
but
judgment.
I don't know, because on the flip side of that, like, I wouldn't say isolated myself, but I intentionally, like, unplugged, on New Year's Eve last year. Like, I intentionally, like, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go sit in this corner and I'm going to intentionally check back into my life and be with myself. And when I set that intention, at first it was real simple and just real easy, because I don't know, like, I feel like, I'm not going to say I was introverted or anything like that, but I've always been that person, like Miss Robin, like, I had a lot of friends, a lot of acquaintances, a lot of people that I would interact with, but I wasn't really deeply connected to them. And so I feel like, because I didn't really have, like, I don't know, like, I had good experiences with them, but no real connection. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just kind of like doing a whole lot of stuff to please other people, or just say, like, oh my God, if I want to go out or if I want to travel, I have somebody to go with. But like, I need to, like, really, really go back to when I would go eat by myself and be with that pep in my step. Be walking through the mall and being like, oh my God, like, I'm, walking past the mirror. Ooh, damn, I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like, I kind of lost that over the past, 3 years, and I intentionally, like, put myself kind of in that corner so I could pour back into myself. And at first, like I said, it was really cool. And now, as I am, communing with my higher self, it is kind of becoming like that intentional separation or intentional prison. So I'm trying to find that balance of, like, okay, this is authenticity, and then this is like, you're a little bit operating from fear because you don't want to repeat the same thing, which is fucking insanity. So I feel everything that you just said. I wrote it down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
That's dope. All right. So, you want me to kick off the questions? Because you kind of, like, hit on some.
Yeah, for sure. Go for it.
So, I guess, like, in just talking about, let's talk about, like, intimate relationships, and then first, and then let's talk about just regular, just experiences, like, just, acquaintance type of relationships. But why is it important to put yourself first when you're in relationship?
So I don't know if you guys know a person. His name is Joe Dispenza. He said something that I was like, that's really interesting. He said he's never going to work on a relationship that he's in.
Okay.
He said he said I'll be what I need to be for you when you tell me what I need to be that, but I'm not going to try to change you. I'm going to respect your boundaries, but I'm not going to work in a relationship. And I said, I love that, because if each person is presenting their best to each other, what the hell is there to work on? And if I have a bad day, which I will, and what I need to get me back to where I need to be, hell, I mean, that's heaven, right?
That's true.
I'm confused. So he said he's not going to work on relationships, because I thought relationships would work.
Man, that's what they be trying to tell us, though.
Yeah, so that's exactly what they be trying to tell.